One of the biggest and most painful mistakes that I've seen clients make is falling victim to the temptation to overthink things at the very end, just before they retire, just when they're ready to grab that brass ring and begin their new life. There's this temptation to begin to question tons and tons of the assumptions in their retirement plan. And it's important to get it right. It's important to have confidence. It's important to have clarity. But you're never going to have certainty. And as we get closer to that moment, which for many of us is going to be a one-way door, once we walk out that door, it's really hard to re-enter that world at the salary, at the position, at the level that we were at before we told our boss we were going to retire. So I get it. I've been retired a little over 6 months now. I had to have that conversation with my boss as well. And I understand the temptation, but ultimately, at some point, you have to take the leap and go forward. So in this video, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about some of the things you can do to protect yourself from that temptation. And the very first one is just to realize, as I said earlier, we all go through this, right? I've helped hundreds of people into retirement. And yet I found myself with that as well. It's a scary thing. I think of it almost like a river. A river, our salary is like this river of continuous money coming into our lives. And by the time we've worked for 20, 30, 40 years, we're used to this very predictable, very dependable. Some of us may have had ups and downs in our salary, but ultimately we knew new money was coming in. But when we pull the trigger and we retire, likewise, we also know there is no new money coming in. Yes, you're going to have Social Security. Maybe if you have rental income coming in, you're going to have that, but you're going to lose that salary, which for most of us was a big component of all of the money coming into our lives. So thinking through that ahead of time, and frankly, it's one of the powers of a pension. For the 20% of Americans that are still going to get a pension, that can be a really powerful thing because it makes that transition easier. But 80% of us are not going to have that. So having a good, solid plan in place, I think is really critical. It gives you that confidence. It gives you that clarity. It gives you that ability to take that leap when it's the most important. Because boy, the default of, you know what, I'm just going to kick the can down the road 6 more months. What's that going to hurt? And you know what, if you kick the can down the road one time for 6 months or 12 months, it's likely not going to hurt, right? None of us know how much healthy, active time that we have. But if it turns out we've only got 2 years of healthy, active time, boy, we would really regret not taking that final leap. So working with somebody that you trust, working with somebody that you know is a fiduciary to you, and mea culpa, I'm a financial advisor, so I get it. Working with a financial advisor is not the right step for everybody. But I see a lot of people that have been spreadsheeting this to death for several years, and they could have retired 3, 4, 5 years earlier, and they keep doing, you know what, I've got to incorporate this extra thing, and it can rob you of your healthiest, most active time. So I think spreadsheets are dangerous for that reason. You never know what you don't know and what you didn't put into the spreadsheet. And a financial advisor is not right for everybody. So I think a good middle ground is, like at work, I had professional institutional software to help me and my team make sure that we were covering everything. It gave us really robust tools to look at everything holistically. And frankly, I don't care how good of an Excel spreadsheet jockey you are, and I'm a pretty good spreadsheet jockey myself. But I think for all of us, it makes sense, particularly as we're making that first decision, say, okay, I'm going to go have that conversation with my boss. I'm going to say I'm going to retire. I'm actually going to do this. then I think it makes a lot of sense to have professional software that's designed for you, is designed for the retail user. And the software that I like is called Boldin, Boldin. It used to be New Retirement. And if you use the link that's in the description below, you'll be helping out the channel. This video is not sponsored by Boldin, but I am an affiliate. So it's $120 a year. Do me a favor, if that sounds like a match for you, please use the link in the description below. Okay, so step one is making sure that we have confidence in our plan. The other thing is, if you're married, if there's a significant other in your life, you really want to make sure that the two of you have a vision that you're both excited about for retirement, because sometimes one spouse's vision is, we're going to spend a fair amount of the day together. And the other spouse's vision is, no, you're going to head out of the house for a while. I'm going to head out of the house for a while. And before you retired, you spent maybe 2-3 hours a day in active time with your spouse, with your significant other, and maybe they feel the same way. So making sure you're on the same page. Now, if you're a spouse watching this video, or you have a significant other that is not able to pull that trigger, is not able to take that final step, your challenge is even larger, right? It's one thing if you're watching this video and you're the person that's having trouble making that final step. But if there's somebody in your life that you know, that you love, that you care about, how can you help them out? I think first, share this video, obviously. But the second thing is what I was talking about earlier, having a professional alongside. So it's not you being the bad guy or pushing, but it's a third party that's involved, that's helping the two of you make the decision that's right for the two of you. And it's not one person on one side and one person on the other side, because there's no winner, right? There's really two losers in that situation. So having that third party, whether it's a professional, whether it's somebody that went through the struggle themselves and maybe can help guide you through it, but trying to do it yourself can be really, really hard, both from the number standpoint, but also from the heart standpoint, from the quantitative side of things. It is a big leap, but you know what? It's a super important leap, because unfortunately here in the US, if we have at 60 years old 1,000 weeks of healthy active time remaining in front of us, we're super fortunate, right? That means that we're staying healthy, we have mental acuity, we still have that energy to do things. That means we have that to 80. And I don't know many 80-year-olds that do have that. I just got back from a trip where I climbed a volcano. It wasn't that crazy of a climb. It wasn't dangerous. But you know what? I'm 60 right now. There weren't a lot of 60-year-olds on that climb. In fact, I was the oldest one in my group by 2 decades. And my group was about 40 people. And there were like 1,000 people either going up or down. And there were not 20 of us age 60 or older. So taking full advantage of the youth of your senior years is critically important. And it's why I made this video up here, which is why waiting to 65 to retire might be a big mistake. I'll see you in that one. Thanks for watching.